All right, so for our in-class project, what we want to do is to determine the hypotenuse, which we've labeled over here at the letter C. We're going to use this equation over here, a squared plus b squared. Take the square root of that, and that's going to equal to C. We're going to use the Sqrt function of math to determine what the square root is. We're going to use Math.Pow to determine the square of A and the square of B. So we're going to have a little bit of everything here in terms of math functions for this program. All right, so let me switch over here to Visual Studio, and I'm going to create a new program. So first of all, let me save all, and I'm going to close this solution, and I'm going to start a new solution. So I'll go File, New, Project. So within this project, I'm going to create a Visual Basic. Make sure this is selected. Windows Forms Application. Over here, I'll type in CS111. And this is going to be my hypotenuse calculator.
Part 2.
Project. Yeah, or part 2. Sure. Looks like I've gone too many letters, so I'll just say proj. Click OK. All right. I'm going to drag and drop a button, a label, and also a text box. And what I'll do is, in the Properties panel, I'll change the text property, and I'll just simply say side A. And then allow the user to enter a value for side A. I think what I'll do is I'll select these two, and then I'll say side B. So watch how I take my mouse pointer over here, I click and I hold it, and then this rubber band box effect occurs. I'm going to touch the text box, I'm going to touch the label, so I select both of them. I can also do that from over here. See this rubber band box? I could touch this, select both of these. Control C, Control V is in Victor for copy and paste. And now I've got this. I'm going to move this into place right here, looks good. Unselect, and I'm going to change this to side B. So in the text property, I'll change that to side B. All right. The user is going to enter side A, the user is going to enter side B, and then I'll have a button over here. I'm going to open it up. That button will say Calculate. And then finally, I'm going to have a label down here to determine what the result is. Let me just make everything a little bit bigger here. So I think what I'll do is I'll just make this button a little bit bigger. Same thing with these text boxes. I'll make them a little bit bigger. So we have something like this. I'll take this label, copy and paste it, move it over here. At this point, you know we need to change the size, so that auto size is going to be changed to false. Now I've resized it. I don't like the, well, first of all, this thing doesn't have a border, so let me go to border style and change that to fixed single. Now there's a border around it, as you can see. I want the text to be centered and also in the middle. So I'm going to go down over here to text align, change this to middle center. And then finally, I want to get rid of this text. It should not start off with anything inside of the label. So I will go to the text property, double click, hit delete, and now it's blank. So this is what your form looks like so far. You have the two text boxes, the calculate button, you also have the label. All right, let's get rid of the minimize and the maximize box. So we select the form, then we go to maximize box, minimize box. We have to change these two to false. So I'll double click, and now both of those are false. I don't like that word form 1. We'll say calculate hypotenuse for the text. Calc hypotenuse. I'm going to save my work, so I'm going to click the Save All button. At this point, I'm ready to name all of these items. So over here, for this text box, that will be txt side A. So for this text box, txt side A. In a similar fashion, we'll name the next text box txt side B. So here, txt side B. You know what this button should be called. BTN calculate. Nice. BTN calculate. So I've got txt side A. I've got txt side B. I've got BTN calculate. And then we'll traditionally just call this LBL result. Make sure you save your work by clicking the Save All button. And now you are ready to generate your code. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We know that the larger part of this equation is the square root of, and then everything else is inside of the square root. So I think what I'll do is I'll start off with a Math.Sqrt, and then inside of the parentheses, I'll have two Math.Pows. One Math.Pow will be for A, the other Math.Pow would be for B. And then we'll assign this to side C. Okay, so let me double click the Calculate button. I'm going to get rid of the toolbox. I'm going to get rid of the Properties panel. I'm going to start off with my comments, declarations, get user input, calculation, output. Go back over here to my declarations section. All right, first of all, what is the user going to give to me? Looks like the user is going to give to me side A and side B. So I will say dim side A as double, dim side B as double. Could I have made dim side A as an integer? Yeah, I could have. But the reason why I make it a double is because I'm going to be using Math.Pow, I'm going to be using Math.Sqrt. The user could enter a real number, so I want to be able to accommodate the user who enters a number with a decimal point. Well, I also need a side B, or side C rather. Let's obtain the user input. So over here, side A is going to be convert dot to double whatever is inside of the text box dot text side A. Same thing with side B. Side B is going to be convert dot to double whatever is in side B dot text. Don't forget the dot text property. Right? It's the text property that you want. You are going to be obtaining that from this text box, converting it into a real number, that is a number with a decimal point, assigning it to side A, which, as you can see over here, is a real number or a double. Now that I have the user input, I'm ready for my calculation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say side C equals, okay, so let me go back over here, side C, I said the word equals, but I really should have said assigned. Side C is going to be assigned Math.Sqrt, open and close parentheses, put your cursor right back into there. So in other words, the larger mathematical operator, or the outer operator, is the square root. Inside of here, we're going to have two squares. So let me type in my first one, Math.Pow, open and close parentheses. Put my cursor right inside here. Bless you. See, that's what we do in America. That's the convention. So over here, Math.Pow is going to be what? A squared. So side A, comma, I'll put 2.0 for side squared. Outside of this parentheses, plus another Math.Pow with an open and close parentheses, put your cursor right back in that parenthesis. So far what I've got is this. What is the square of side A? That takes care of this portion over here. Now add, okay, here's the plus symbol. Now, what is b squared? Okay, so side b squared. Go outside this parentheses, the whole thing is going to be square rooted, and that's where this is. What is the square root of this? Well, what is this portion that I just mentioned? It's the square of side A plus the square of side B. That answer is going to be placed into side C. Now I am ready to output the results. So I can do something like this. LBL result.text is going to be, let me see here, something like this. Side C equals, I'll concatenate that with, let's do this. We'll say side C dot to string, and I'll put F3. I only want 3 numbers after the decimal point. Save my work. I'm going to run my program, and I'm going to scroll down so you can see what the code looks like. Here's the code. Here's the program. So if I put a 3 over here, if I put a 4 over here, side C equals 5. The 3 zeros are as a result of that number 3 over here, 3 numbers after the decimal point.